Desir? How do you pronounce it?
Desir.
Financial whiz. Okay, he knows everything there is to know about finances, and whatever he doesn't know, I'm sure he's gonna learn soon. The very little that he doesn't. We brought him in because this is a part of life that I think not many people are willing to discuss openly, and you know, and it's also an area that a lot of people lack sufficient knowledge in. So we basically will ask him a couple of questions. He already has what he wants to talk about. You guys can, you know, type in and ask questions, comments about whatever, but he's going to be focusing on, what topics you want to focus on tonight?
Well, I think first we should start with the budget.
As far as budgeting your household?
Yeah.
As an individual, family, what do you?
All of it. So
Okay.
you start with an individual first, and then you want to talk about family, right?
Okay.
Because just a little background on myself. You know, I've been a financial advisor for the last 11 years. So I've worked with ultra high net worth and accredited investors for the last 11 years, from all over the country.
Okay.
Many different professions: farmers, scientists, doctors, lawyers, engineers, you name it. You know, vice president of cosmetics companies.
Damn.
You know, NFL, you name it. And what I will say is, in being in that field, when I come across somebody that I know in my personal life, they want to talk to me about investing. But that's the last thing we need to be talking about. We need to be talking about the foundation first.
Gotcha.
Right? And so if you focus on the foundation as far as
Which is
budgeting,
like where that money is going to come from.
Right.
In the beginning.
Yeah. Let's start off with, most of your audience is probably from Long Island.
Right.
Yeah.
Ask you a question. How much you think it takes to raise a family on Long Island?
How many kids?
Two. Two kids.
Shit, I'd say minimum $100,000.
Can I say what I've heard?
At least.
Sure.
I've heard that it, like now, one kid can cost you upwards of, depending on college, almost $500,000 over a lifetime.
Yeah, but he's talking about per
I'm
year. He's talking about from birth to 18.
I'm talking about, I'm a Haitian man. This is African American man. You know what I'm saying? We cut corners where we can.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And so
yeah,
we're not talking about the guys over in Pleasantville
Got it,
who,
got it,
you
got
know,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
pay
yeah.
full price for things, right?
Yeah.
We
Dig.
nickel and dime where we can.
Got it. Yep.
But my question to you is, how much you think? You said $100,000?
I say, yeah. To live
about,
comfortably.
yeah.
To live comfortably.
Yeah.
Okay. And out of that $100,000, what do you think that's going to shake out to? Where do you think that family is going to spend the most money?
Housing on Long Island.
Housing, right? So the model that I use is about 30% to 40% of the person's take-home pay is going to go towards housing.
Okay.
For the most part, right? And that's where it comes in knowing your budget, knowing how much it costs to pay for where you sleep, knowing how much it costs for transportation, knowing how much it costs for your food. Right?
That's hot the way he just said. He said, knowing how much it costs to pay for where you sleep.
Yeah. No, it's important.
That's like some basic.
Yeah.
It's important.
Because then when you live, most of the time you there, you sleeping. Like,
Yeah.
You ever pay rent before?
Absolutely.
Okay. Let me ask you, how long have you paid rent? If you had to take a guess, how many years?
My whole life.
Yeah.
I've been paying rent my whole life.
You
yeah.
got any equity for that?
Nope.
Can you take your rent payments and go to the bank and say, I want to borrow against that?
Nah.
Right. So one of the things I want to touch on is getting away from paying rent and moving towards owning, because owning provides leverage, right? When you can own something, I don't care if it's a townhouse, I don't care if it's a shed.
Yeah.
As long as a bank will give you a loan for it,
Right.
it's a good thing for you to have.
Gotcha.
As far as starting off with because when you get a home, you know, you got to have a 10% down or 30%.
There are some programs out there. I have some friends who got through a program called the NACA program. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the NACA program before. It's a program that was established under the Obama administration. And it was established because banks engaged in predatory lending practices against minorities.
Wow.
That's what
Black
caused
and brown.
the crash in 08, right?
I don't want to speculate.
All right, my bad. All right, my bad.
I would just say that the
Okay.
NACA program was created because banks took advantage of black and brown folk, and
Okay.
they got caught.
Yeah.
And so the NACA program allowed people to apply for mortgages and get like a 1% interest rate on their mortgage and the ability to buy down that interest rate.
Wow.
So you could literally be in a position where you're paying zero for your mortgage.
Wow.
Oh, well, interest. Interest, just the principal.
Okay.
Now, there are some programs. I'm not a mortgage banker.
Yeah.
But I do have people in my network that are mortgage bankers. You know Jason.
Yeah.
Jason Stoll,
Of course.
mortgage banker. There are some programs that'll let you go FHA, 3.5% down. So what that looks like, your median price on Long Island, you can probably get something entry-level home like 300, 350, around that range, in the neighboring, Brentwood, CI, around that area. That's probably gonna look like $10,000 to $12,000 down. Now, that might seem like out of this world money to the common person, but the idea is I call it the slingshot method. You've got to scale back your expenses to spring forward.
The cost of living.
All of it.
Yeah.
Yo, dude, if you got to eat ramen to get whatever you have to do, whatever you have to do to put yourself in the first position of having some equity, which is home ownership, because home ownership in this country is the cornerstone of wealth. Cornerstone. So you scale yourself back, bring your expenses down. So let's say you've got that $100,000 income. Just because you got a $100,000 income doesn't mean you're going home with $100,000.
Exactly.
You probably go home, because most likely you're going to be W-2. So you're probably going to go home
60.
with about 65, depending on your accountant.
Yeah.
And out of that 65, that's what you guys have to live on.
Right.
Now, if you got a family of 2, you've got to ask yourself certain questions. Do I need to take on a car payment? Or can I just get a vehicle that's going to take me from point A to point B?
That's something that I think we've spoken about before. Now, the guy obviously does pretty well for himself and his family. Correct me if I'm wrong, you've never had a car note.
The first car note I ever took was for my wife on her 35th birthday. I surprised her with a brand new car. And that's the first. And the reason I did that was because I shipped her car to my parents in Haiti. There was nothing wrong with her car. I just shipped it over there with a lift kit because Haiti's real, tumultuous as far as the terrain.
Okay.
And then said, okay, my wife doesn't have a car. Buy the car. You know what I mean? And it fit my family. 4 kids deep, full size SUV, bells and whistles. It worked. She was happy. Everybody's comfortable.
She's happy, you happy.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. They say happy wife,
Happy life.
Happy life.
No?
It's happy spouse, happy house.
See, that goes both ways.
That's it.
That goes both ways.
And the reason why...
Then he gonna go home and say that and get punched in the face.
Yo. Why you gotta throw me in there like that?
I'm sorry, bro. I'm mad. There you go. Chris
She's listening right now.
I'm watching too.
I'll see if the comment comes in. I'll definitely see if it comes in.
So anyway, not to veer off, but what I want to say is that I never had a car payment for myself personally because so many of my friends had their cars repoed. Or so many, just people that I know in general. I hear these crazy stories. And then I would go to the auctions. The auctions right in CI. And I would see seizure, child support, tax lien, this person ain't pay their bills, whatever they... The car that I bought cash from the auction, the car came with the rims, it came with the system, it only had 10,000 miles on it, and I got it 20 grand off the sticker price, and that's because the guy ain't pay his car payments. I even got a couple reggae CDs. We gotta do better. No, but we gotta do better. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Listen, if you can't afford it, don't be trying to be out there trying to impress a bunch of people who don't know you or ain't gonna do it.
But as far as getting a car to say something just to get around, but you got a family, you need something reliable. Getting a car off the streets is not always so reliable. So you need something that's stability for you and your family.
No question. So there's a couple of avenues that you can take. If you need something that's let's talk females, right? Because most females are not going to be under the hood of their vehicle. No knock to females. There are some female mechanics, but most females are not going to be under the hood of their vehicle tinkering around. My wife was making fun of me yesterday because one of the cars I used to have, the starter wasn't working, so I would take a wooden Louisville Slugger and tap on the starter and get it to turn on.
We all done that.
But I ain't had no car payment. You know what I'm saying? So what I would say is if the person has good credit, they could go and potentially get a car for and again, it's got to be good credit to be able to do this. Go get a car for $200 a month, $150 a month. It doesn't have to be
something within the budget.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. Yeah, it's something within the budget. Absolutely, something within the budget. But
that brings us back to why we talking about this budgeting.
1,000%. So, listen, man. If you don't track where your money's going, you ever talk to these people? I don't know where it all went. They got paid on Friday.
Nothing to show for.
Right. My money just escapes me. I don't know where it all went.
Exactly.
Nah. So what I do for people, and again, being a financial advisor, what I did was I went to Tennessee to go train with Dave Ramsey for 6 weeks. Dave Ramsey and his team.
I'm familiar with
I don't
Dave
know if-
Ramsey.
yeah.
I watched the videos.
He's not really big on the East Coast, but in the Midwest,
Yeah,
he's got a really big presence.
Yep.
And I agree with a lot of the things that Dave says, but I disagree with a lot of the things that he says. Like, he's like, no credit cards, no. And me, I'm like, okay, well, I use credit cards for business reasons.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, it works. Now, if somebody doesn't have the discipline to use it the right way, yeah, they could find something new. Of course.
Yeah.
But as far as the financial coaching is concerned, I sit down with my clients and I say, listen, I need to see 90 days of bank statements. I don't want to be all up in your business.
Yeah.
But when people take me on as their financial coach, my job is to do a diagnostic the same way that a mechanic would. You telling me that you need to change your transmission or whatever, I'm like, yeah. Let me run the diagnostic and let me take a look at it myself.
Yeah.
So I can get a clear picture as to what's going on. So I go in and look at the bank statements and say, with like 5 highlighters, and I'm color coding everything, and I'm saying, hey, can this be cut? Can this be eliminated? Is this necessary? And now we have to have hard conversations because people are out there spending money on things.
Unnecessary.
Right. And the idea is you get a paycheck, it's a large lump sum, but it's the small leaks that kill you. It's the small leaks
Dumb
that
shit
kill you.
like that. I tell people all the time, man.
If you're going to eat out, I ate out yesterday with an investor, and we closed the deal. And I paid the bill.
You made
it worth it.
You made money.
You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
So that money that I spent eating out with that investor, and it wasn't even much. It was, we went to a wing spot, bro.
Yeah.
A couple guys busting down wings watching the game.
Yeah.
But my point is that expenditure or that money that I laid out is going to come back to me 5,000-fold.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm saving him because he's involved in a house that went completely south.
Yeah.
You know, do the houses.
Yeah, but even aside from that, like, I get into this with clients of mine that complain about eating. They say that, eating healthy costs so much. I said, bullshit, who told you that? And I've sat and done health and wellness fairs where I've told people, listen, I spend $500-600 a month in groceries. Okay, between myself, my 4 children. Now, that's 5 people.
You said a month? That's it?
Yeah, well, about.
Where you shopping?
600. Aldi's, that shit is cheap.
I'm about to say, because I took it. Listen, Catrice
Well,
was
no,
like,
I go back and forth between BJ's and Aldi's.
Oh, good.
Most of the stuff I buy be from BJ's because it's bulk, and then I get like in between stuff that BJ's don't sell, and I get it from Aldi's. But like I've sat and I've gone through it, and I'm like, yo, out of that $500-600, sometimes it is more, especially when they're home during the summer. I'm getting.
I had 3 extra kids at my house this summer.
Oh yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
laughing.
Yeah, you know.
So I'm laughing.
So like I'm getting 4 or 5 meals a day out of that for me. And the days that the kids go to school, they're eating breakfast at home, and then they'll come home, they'll have something when they get home, and then they'll have another meal, dinner before they go to bed. So that's 4 kids times 3 meals a day. That's 12 times 5 days a week. That's 60. Okay? And then Saturday, Sunday, everybody eating that. I did the math, and it came out to like several hundred meals divided by that $600. It came out to like $1.73 a meal. And I told people, I said, so where are you getting the idea that eating healthy costs money? No, you're afraid of that and that long outlay of cash of $600 at the grocery store because you're like, damn. But if you add up, where can a grown-ass man like you, who's a nice-sized dude, me, Danny Webb, I can't go nowhere eat for less than $20 on the street.
That's right.
So if you add that up 3 times a day, that's $60 a day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
60. That's just feeding you. That's not nobody else at the house.
Here's how you solve that argument for your clients real fast. You tell them like this. Eating healthy is expensive. You tell them like this. What do you want to pay? You want to pay on the front end or you want to pay on the back end?
Yeah.
So you can tell them what paying on the back end looks like. Paying on the back end looks like a 6-figure medical bill. Paying on the back end looks like a diminished quality of life.
Yeah.
Paying on the back end looks like early mortality. You know what I'm saying? Paying on
Triple bypass, $70,000.
Yeah.
that's just the surgery. That's not the hospital stay. And
Yeah.
that's crazy.
So at all end, you want to delay your gratification.
Yeah, man. I can only speak on my personal situation. That's why when you guys invited me, I was like, man, finances is it's not something that we can cover in a quick shot.
Yeah, oh, no, we're definitely gonna have you back.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you want to come back, we'll definitely have you.
Let me just talk about my personal situation. So me, I had my first son, and then I started in the brokerage business at 24, and then I had my second son. You know what I'm saying? But we were in a 1-bedroom apartment with 2 kids, and it was literally to the point where I had to. But I had a plan because I knew where I wanted to be.
Gotcha.
So I said, all right, we're in this 1-bedroom. I'm making money. Wife's making money, but we want a home. We didn't know we were gonna have 4 kids. Right? It just kind of just appeared.
Yeah, bullshit. I know how that goes.
You know, when you throw a party, people show up. That's you know. So
it was some hell of an invitation.
Word, right? Yeah. So
Invitation.
Word.
So we had a 1-bedroom, and I was saving, and I remember, man, I was doing security, selling DVDs, doing what I had to do, man, working at the brokerage firm, and people be like, yo, you making money, man? Why don't you buy a Benz? I'm like, I don't need none of that.
Yeah.
Why don't you buy this? Why don't you buy? And then people started calling me a liar. Nah, you not. No, he's lying. Nobody believed me until we closed on a house. And so we left that apartment and then moved to another 2-bedroom apartment because then a third child appeared. The third child appeared. You know what I'm saying?
Third child appeared.
Yeah.
With the storm.
And then
dropped them off at the doorstep.
And I remember that apartment. It's right in Islip, across the street from the high school. And I had the top floor, and my kids would run back and forth, and the people downstairs would bang with the broom. So after a year or two,
you used to live in apartments in Islip?
Yeah,
I lived over there too.
Yeah,
I lived in Maplewood.
Maplewood, yeah.
Yep. I was over there from like 04,
Yo, Maplewood, I don't even think it's called Maplewood anymore. But Maplewood was the cheapest apartment.
Yes.
That was everything included.
In a nice neighborhood.
Yeah, that you could possibly get your hands on in no crime.
Yep.
So Maplewood did me right.
That's over by the high school?
Yeah.
I lived in there for 4 years.
Maplewood did me right.
I remember.
But we moved out. We bought the crib. I'm living in Islip now. And then 2 weeks later, we got married.
2 weeks
first.
later, another kid came.
No. Listen, let me just say this. I have yet to meet somebody that can fill a house full of people faster than me.
Yeah.
How far apart are your kids?
15, 9, 7, and 4.
9, 7, 4.
Yeah. So, yeah. Same baby mama. Yeah, I just gotta lay that out.
I can make that claim too. I ain't with him no more like he's with his. But mine is, I got all mine to the same baby mama.
I'm on the same, but I got 3 still the same one.
That's it. But anyway, I'm saying all that to say that had I did what people were telling me to do, spend the money on this, spend the money on that, material items, right? I wouldn't have been able to pick up that property. And so I bust my ass to pick up that property, right? But now we're picking up properties in our other business left and right. And I'm saying all that to say that the slingshot method works where, yes, it's a lot of delayed gratification. It's a ton of sacrifice. And especially in a social media driven world, you're going to watch all your friends look like they're having a great vacation. Time. This one's buying this outfit. This one's doing this. This one's getting married. This one's doing... What are they called? The gender reveal party? Waste of money. Anyway, yeah. So, and this is the stuff that kills us too.
Yeah.
I remember I went to a birthday party. They threw it at a wedding venue for a little kid. Hey, I'm looking. I'm like,
first birthday parties are for the mom. I don't give a shit. Y'all hear that? First birthday parties are for the mom. The baby don't remember none of that shit.
Oh man.
Okay. I got in an argument with my kid's mother, my ex-wife, over Jamel's second birthday party. She made me pay for a clown, Elmo, some other shit. Yo, this party cost me like $600 something.
He don't remember.
He don't remember it.
He don't remember nothing. He's like,
little blockhead ass. Only reason why he know this shit happened was because I showed him pictures.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He doesn't remember any of that. And when I tell you, when I was debating with her about not having this party, the attitude I got, and the kid don't even remember. So continue, big. I'm staying focused, bro. I'm sorry. You hit a soft spot, right?
But in order to put myself in the position to be able to do that, I had to stop the stuff I was doing.
Yeah.
So Gucci and Louis didn't see me no more.
right.
You know what I'm saying? These big purchases, and I've always been a materialistic person. Like I've always had, the designer stuff because my brothers all had that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's the examples. Who are we around, and what are they doing to us, and what kind of example are they showing us? Right?
Yeah.
You guys probably don't really hang around too many people that are really out of shape with poor diets and all kind of craziness, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to make money, why would you hang around with somebody where they get their paycheck on Friday and by Saturday it's gone?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I used to hear this old Jamaican dude. My job as a ninth grader. My uncle Wilfred, got me this job in an insurance company. But this Jamaican dude used to always say to me, every time you get your paycheck, pay yourself first. And I never understood what the hell he was talking about. Pay yourself first. And I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? Now I understand it. Now when you get your paycheck, contribute towards your retirement. Contribute towards that goal to buy a house. Contribute towards paying for higher education, right? And let's touch on this topic. When me and my wife were discussing how much it takes to live on Long Island, we were still living in the apartment. At the time, we came to the conclusion it was $75,000, and one emergency would wipe you out. That was the conclusion that me and my wife came to. It's 100 and better now on Long Island. Right. But I'll even add to that. I'll say this: that what are we doing to upgrade our skills? Because you remember applying for jobs, they'd be like, "Yo, how many words per minute can you type?"
Yo, kids are not even signing they don't know how to sign their signature. Like if I ask my sons to listen, sign your name right here, they'll be like, I don't know how to sign my name.
They don't know how to write letters.
It's a lot to do with the schooling. They're not showing them what the proper etiquette of making money, which is obviously you guys sign your name on a check.
Right.
That's another important thing.
How to write a check.
How to write a check. But you got to be able to sign. It's small things like that was diminishing the kids and learning how to fucking.
I think Shaquille O'Neal gave a really good example. Shaquille O'Neal was on CNBC. Shout out to Shaq, big homie. I did security for Shaquille.
Oh, what?
Back when we was rumbling out in the Hamptons.
Okay.
And let me tell you a quick story about that. So I did security for Shaquille, and Shaquille hops out the whip, and it was my job to walk him into the club to his VIP and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'm talking, I'm like, yo, Shaq, why do you need security, bro?
Yeah,
like, you could backhand me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, why?
yeah.
And he was like, because they'll sue me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then a few minutes later, Hoops walked in. Yeah, so anyway. Word. So, I don't know how far reaching this podcast goes. You know what I'm saying?
No limitation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything goes.
So, all right. Where were we?
Budget.
I don't know.
Budgeting.
You mentioned hoops in my brain.
Back to budgeting. Okay, so
You were talking about delaying your gratification.
delaying your gratification.
Oh, you were saying what are we
Saving for
doing to
emergency.
upgrade our skills?
Our skills.
This time.
Yes. So what are we doing to upgrade our skills? So now I'm actually I just got into real estate about 2.5 years ago, right? Now, when I walked into a distressed home, I wouldn't be able to tell you how much it would take to fix a house. You follow what I'm saying? But now when I walk into these houses, I'm like, oh, the budget is going to be $80,000.
Yeah.
Because I know right off the rip.
Yeah.
But what I did was I partnered with somebody who had more experience than me.
Mm-hmm.
You follow what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Because I come from the school of a piece of something is better than 100% of nothing. Now, granted, if I said I wanted to get into real estate and I said, well, I don't need no partner, I'll do it on my own. Here's the problem. I'll keep 100% of the profit, but I'll also keep 100% of the bruises, and 100% of the mistakes,
And the headache.
and the learning curve.
Yeah.
Learning curve is longer than anything.
Super long. So what I did was I partnered with somebody that I know and trust, and it's working very well. You know what I'm saying? And that's another stream of income for me. So let's talk about income streams. When my mother was working, and when most of our parents were working, they had a single job. That was their only job.
Yeah.
That's called linear income,
Mm-hmm.
earned income from from their efforts.
Yep.
Today, in a social media driven age, you see all these posts now talking about passive income. This and that's great though. I'm not even knocking it. I'm not even knocking it. At least they're exposing, our children to this stuff.
Yeah.
Again, it may be too much information.
Yeah.
There's no fact checking going on.
Uh-huh.
But the reality is, in today's society, you really do need more than one stream of income.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You need five.
Especially on Long Island, in the Northeast, over in California. Like, I mean, there's a lot of places. I got family in different parts of the country where, like, if you get yourself a nice paying job and you live in, in certain pockets in the South, on the Midwest, you making 60, 70, 80 grand a year, you good.
Yeah.
If your mortgage is $800 a month.
Right.
Shit, you all right.
Till old man gentrification comes rolling down.
Well, yeah.
Because that's what's happening in Atlanta.
Yeah.
What's happening in Atlanta is those $80,000 jobs ain't cutting it no more.
Everything's going up.
Yeah, it's expensive out there. So the easiest thing that your audience and anybody that's gonna see this and watching, the easiest thing they can do to increase their income, they can buy stocks. Dividend paying stocks. Stocks that
How do you
pay
buy
dividends.
stocks? What do
You open up an account at a brokerage firm. So if we had this conversation, say, I don't know, 5 years ago, I would have told you, okay, go to E-Trade or Ameritrade, and you'll pay $10 for each trade. You make a purchase, so you buy shares of Apple, this iPhone, right? And it's trading at X amount of dollars per share. And you would buy it, and E-Trade would charge you $10 to buy it. Today, though, because of a company called Robinhood that made it free
I know them.
for everybody, now all these platforms are free. So if one share of Facebook is trading, I think the last trade today was $189.43, something like that. One share, so for the price of a pair of Jordans, you could buy a share of Facebook. So you could buy a share of Facebook, or let's talk about a dividend-paying situation, because Facebook don't pay a dividend.
Yeah.
You could buy AT&T.
But what I don't understand is like how's the payout? Like how does that go?
They pay quarterly. So what happens?
So if I buy a share of Facebook, let's say 100.
Not Facebook.
No,
You got to be
it has to be a dividend. It has to be a company that pays a dividend.
Okay, so what you say, AT&T?
AT&T is one.
So let's say AT&T, I buy a share of AT&T.
Yep.
How does the payout work for that? Like, what's the profit
So
margin?
you can choose the way it pays out. They can pay you out in cash, or they can pay you out in shares. So what happens is when they pay it out, they'll just buy you another share or buy you a fractional share.
Gotcha.
But if you choose the cash just gets deposited into your account. The same way if you had an apartment and you were collecting rent, that check's supposed to show up on the first of the month.
Exactly.
The difference with dividends is you ain't gotta, it's the 5th, and you ain't get your money, you ain't gotta knock on nobody's door. It's already set up, it's automatic.
Gotcha.
Your money comes automatic.
And is that always guaranteed, or it fluctuates from month to month?
Death and taxes are guaranteed.
Gotcha.
And so I like to look at it like this. Chances are good nobody's gonna cut off their cell phone.
Right.
So as long as the economy is intact, companies like AT&T, companies like Home Depot, companies like Visa, right? When you go to pay for something, it's Visa or MasterCard.
They ain't
So
going.
companies like that, they just continue to do well. They pay dividends.
Those are necessities.
Those are, I call them fabric of life, fabric of society companies. That's what I call them. Meaning where I'll look at any one of your bank statements and I guarantee you I'll see Walmart, Target, Home Depot. I'll see some sort of
going
Visa
nowhere.
Ain't going nowhere.
Ain't going nowhere.
You can't get around that. So those companies pay dividends. So your audience that's watching this, they could very easily open up a brokerage account and deposit $50, bro. $10. Doesn't matter what it is. And buy something. I would always tell people buy something they're familiar with. I would, if you don't know it or if you don't use the product, don't touch it.
Don't touch it.
Right. Buy stock in GNC and vitamin shop.
Yeah.
Dead serious.
But now,
but it's funny how fast things change, because I remember messaging you on Facebook. We were having a conversation one time about 5-6 years ago about buying stocks, and it's crazy how fast it changes, because you mentioned Ameritrade. And now it's something totally different. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. It moves at like warp speed.
They've democratized it. They've made it so that anybody and everybody can get involved, and I think that's dope. It's bad for guys like me as a broker, because most brokers make their money off of transactions. But I ain't worried about that, because
you got other streams of income.
That too. but if my family and friends, I can have a conversation with them and be like, yo man, there was a hurricane, mad houses were destroyed. How they gonna repair that?
Right.
I'll just wait. Home Depot. Like, bro, hurricane come through, Home Depot.
At this point, you're like, yeah, I hope a hurricane comes.
Yo, when I was really heavy in the business, man, it was unfortunate, man. I used to be looking at these natural disasters and be like, I used to feel like Dr. Doom, like,
look at like Dr. Evil.
But I haven't experienced it myself. I can't do, Hurricane Sandy, all that craziness. I wouldn't wish that on nobody. But that's what your audience can do. They can buy dividends. As far as, I'll give you a scenario. Let's say you didn't have no children, okay, and you had a decent income, $100,000 or whatever it is, right? I would tell you, my advice as your financial advisor, I would say to you, yo, Mel, wouldn't it sound great if you could live rent free, or you could live you could live for free? And you'd be like, yeah, Paul, I can get behind that. Like, yo, show me how to do that. I would tell you, you as an individual can meet with a mortgage broker like my partner, Jason, and he can put you in a position where you can buy a 2-family, 3-family, or 4-family, right? Using 3.5% down. Now think about this. It's just you. You move into that 4-family. You rent out the other 3 units.
They're paying
the mortgage for you.
That's it. Or you have a situation where you're really cool with your parents and they just have a huge ass house and they don't mind you staying with them, and you buy the 4-family and you don't live in it and you just
rack up.
That's it. And you just rack.
Now the unit that you would have lived in, you getting income,
dude. And I tell people,
a lot of people hold their pride against that.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back to living with my parents.
That's a mistake.
It's a pride thing.
That's a huge mistake that we make as minorities. We charge the kids rent. We throw them out as soon as they turn 18. That's not. We need to teach them the basics of finance first, right? So if I'm going to charge my kids rent, I might charge them rent, but I'm not going to spend that money.
Right.
I'll keep it, and then I'll watch them on a merit-based system. Like, hey, you're doing really good with managing your finances. Here's a gift from Dad. Without them even knowing that it was the money.
Their money.
It was their money to begin with. You follow what I'm saying? I think it's just the right thing to do. Versus, my kid is an adult legally now, so you know what? He's gonna help me pay my bills. That's still your child.
We start our kids out behind the 8 ball when it comes to stuff like that, and that's actually a discussion that I've had at the barbershop. We've had many of these discussions. Like in the minority community, we are the only place that I know of where our white counterparts don't frown upon living at home with your parents. As long as you're contributing, you ain't just some bum sitting there playing PlayStation all day. Right. But yo, I know, like, I might catch some flack for this shit, but like in the minority community, women will sit and look at you like you a piece of shit. Living with your parents after a certain age, at 20, 25, 26, 27. One of my good friends, I'm not divulging his name, but yo, he lived at home. He'll tell you himself, but I'm still not gonna name his name. He lived at home with his parents in the basement. He paid rent. But he lived at home with his parents until he was ready to move out. Him and his girlfriend, great girl, or fiance, just brought a beautiful house out, and I think it's Coral. But he went from his parents' home to his house.
Right.
And he was there till he was 30-some years old.
Right.
Like, yo, that's something that you hear all the time in my argument. You ain't shit, you live with your mother. You don't know what he doing. He might have $100,000 in the bank.
Keep this though. Here's the issue. The issue is this: when you push the kids out at 18, they still need a place to live. So who's gonna get that money? You follow me?
Exactly.
And that's the mistake that we're making. So it's like, okay, if the kid is gonna live at home, just lay some ground rules. You know what I'm saying? Lay some ground rules and make it just it has to be encouraging for him. He has to look and say, okay, my parents are trying to put me on the right path.
Yeah.
But that's going to involve dealing with professionals and money matters, right?
Yeah,
It's not just myself. I'm not a public guy. Like, I'm not like a Dave Ramsey or one of these other financial pundits. You know what I'm saying? Nothing against them. But what I would tell people to do is seek these people out. Seek out the Dave Ramseys.
Yeah.
Because I could lay out the whole blueprint and be 100% right, but they may not like my flavor and delivery.
Gotcha.
They may not like how I deliver it.
Yeah.
The way I say it, it's kind of like going to a concert and hearing multiple performers. That one person that comes on, it just hits you different when they sing or when they rap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I might not be for everybody, but that's why I tell people, go out and look for the financial guys that are doing it in their markets and study them. You have to study them.
Yeah.
So like me, I have programs that I bought from Dr. Boyce Watkins for my kids. And I work with my kids on those programs. My 7-year-old seems to be really interested in real estate. Jason.
Yeah.
So he seems to be really interested in real estate. I say to him, this is one of the ways Daddy makes money. Daddy buys a house that's badly damaged, fixes it, and sells it to a new family. And he's like, that's really cool, Dad. And then next thing you know, he's like, look at that house, it needs work. And then we walk into somebody's house that we personally know, and it's in shambles, and he's like, Daddy, why don't you buy this house for a piece of crack? I'm like,
yo.
you know, kids always tell the truth, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, why don't you wait until
That is
why don't you wait until we're in the car?
Yeah,
Tell me how you feel about
Yo.
You know what? Just go wait in the car.
That is funny.
Yeah. But it's who we are exposed.
That's the one that looks just like you?
Nah, that's the one that look like the trees.
Yeah.
The one that looked like me, you know, he's into it, but he's just right now more into music and video games.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm just trying to get my kids to the point where it's like, yo, you understand? You can either work for money or you can be the director of your money and tell it where to go.
Exactly.
And it brings back more money.
Gotcha.
Do you show them how to like prep their credit?
I had this conversation with my 15-year-old. I gave him an example. I said, when you play in football, because he was playing football, right? I said they give you a jock strap, right? It's to protect yourself, right?
Yeah.
If you're about to take a hit, you protect yourself, right? Protect your credit. You got to protect your credit even better than you protect your jewels. Yeah.
Hey.
Because let me tell you, credit impacts so much. I give you an example. You go to apply for a mortgage. The 30-year says it's 4%. But your credit score is, and there's brackets, right? So there's, what is it? I think the lowest is 400. So 400 to 475, and then 500 to 550, and then 575 to 650, and then you get to the 700 club, and then the 800 club, where the fairies live. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When they send you a plaque when you reach that level, so they come in the mail.
No, but you just get approved for every damn thing you apply for.
But peep game, I'll tell you a quick story and then get back to that. My credit score's up there. So when I went to go get my wife's truck, they gave me an interest rate of 1.5%.
Damn.
Free money.
Yeah.
Damn.
Free. I mean, you know, that was nothing.
Yeah.
It's unheard of, you know. But as far as credit is concerned, you go for that 4% mortgage, your credit score's bad. All of a sudden, they hit you for 5.25%. And you, unbeknownst to you, you're a first-time home buyer, so you don't think there's a major difference between 4% and 5.25%.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a cataclysmic difference. Over the life of the loan, you're talking probably an extra 90 to 100 grand because of the interest. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
There's that. A job may turn you down because you got bad credit.
Yeah.
Company, because the credit is, as far as corporations and professionals are concerned, and banks, your credit score and your credit behavior is a reflection of you.
Right.
So it's like,
There's people who credit get ruined because they were married.
Don't
and
co-sign
got
for nothing.
divorced.
Do not co-sign. Do not co-sign. Do not co-sign.
Look here, shoot.
No means no.
No means no.
Yeah.
He talking like we discussing the Me Too movement.
Yo,
Co-signing.
Straight
So,
up.
as far as your credit score is concerned, length of time, how long you've had the credit is important. What can ding your credit is missing a payment.
Now, is there a way to like build it up quicker than?
You start off with I started off with a secured credit card. So I went to the bank and gave them $1,000 cash, and they gave me back a credit card with a $1,000 balance.
Right.
I never exceeded 30% of the available balance.
Okay. So you never went over 300.
Never went over $300. So I stayed below that because it's a really foul system. If you don't need the money, we'll give you more.
Right.
But if you look like you need the money, we're gonna grind you into the ground. You look like you need the money, we're gonna charge you double interest rates. We're gonna hit you with late payments, all kind of crazy fees because you need the money.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna crush you. That's kind of how the system works.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not. But percentage of use. So again, I don't go over 30%. Then there's types of credit. Secured. So secured credit is you sign and there's collateral. If you fail to pay, you fail to fulfill your obligation, they're taking the car back. They're taking the house back. In my case, in terms of business, they're taking the heavy equipment back. My cranes, my bulldozers, all that crazy stuff that I need, they'll take that stuff back if I don't pay. Right? Unsecured is your plastic. So unsecured would be
Credit cards. Yeah.
all these.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So your credit cards, they have no recourse. If you don't pay, they're gonna bang your score.
Yeah.
They're gonna bang your score. But
Yeah.
they can't come take your house because you didn't pay for your credit card.
And that's
why
unsecured.
and that's unsecured.
Okay.
And that's why the interest rates are so high.
On unsecured
Because
because they
it's
can't.
unsecured.
Right.
Because there's no recourse.
Yeah.
So they look at it as, well, if he's gonna carry a balance, we gotta get what we can.
Yeah.
Because if he's carrying a balance and he carries it for too long,
We can't take nothing. There's no.
and he fails to pay,
Mhm.
we've got no recourse.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
Lines of credit. Lines of credit are another one. I use lines of credit for my business. So a company or a bank will extend me a line of credit, and I can go buy all my material that I need for a house. So if I have to do a house and it's $100,000 budget, and I got to spend 40 grand on material, I'll buy all the material using line of credit, whatever have you. This way I ain't got to lay out my own personal cash. And then when the house sells, I recoup all that back and pay it down. And it's usually interest only, and the interest rates are usually like in the single digit percentages. Again, based off of your credit score.
Yeah.
Based off of your credit score. But I give you a credit hack tip that I used. So,
This is what we want to know right here.
right.
This is
Write this down.
Somebody's got
That's serious,
so
man.
keep
Yo.
this. Somebody's got no money, but they're looking. They're like they got no money, but they got excellent credit. You can use your credit score to get unsecured money to go start a business. So let's say you wanted to start a food truck business or a gym, or you wanted to buy a truck.
You said you could use your credit score.
You can use your credit score to go get access to money using your credit score. It's unsecured money. Unsecured. You take a loan.
Yeah.
You'll take a loan, and it's unsecured.
Mm.
Now, hopefully, whatever business you're looking to start,
successful.
right, generates positive cash flow right out the gate.
Exactly. Well, that's what
Yeah.
What you mean? He's working out right now.
Yeah.
my body always on overdrive. It's crazy.
But yeah, you could use that to go. So I had an investor. You know, I do these seminars where I educate people, right? And the guy was like, I got no money. I said, okay, how's your credit? And he was like, oh, my credit's like a 750. I said, okay, meet me after the meeting.
How did he get a 750 without building?
Because see, he never had any of the things, and so what he did was he never missed a payment. He most likely never missed a payment. He most likely has some sort of a decent income and never exceeded that 30% threshold of the utilization.
Yeah.
So if he had, just for argument's sake,
Yeah.
a $10,000 credit card, he never went over $3 grand, and he always made his payments on time, and he probably didn't carry a balance.
Quick question. Would you recommend that 30% mark for any type of credit, any type of card or any type of anything that you're doing?
I'm not a credit specialist, but what I will tell you, I'm just talking from my own personal experience.
Got it, yeah.
As I use my lines of credit to facilitate business, my scores fluctuate. But I know in the back of my mind
that 30% is the magic. For
not
you.
not even that. I know in the back of my mind that regardless of how my scores fluctuate,
Yeah.
when I pay it all back, my scores jump right back up close to the
There
8s.
you go.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That answers everything.
The,
you need
the
to know.
key is to never be late. Because if you go on, like, they got these free resources, Credit Karma. Credit Karma is one of these free resources, right? It's not 100% accurate, they're but it's pretty damn close. I mean, it's free. What do you want?
Exactly.
It's
Your
free.
money's worth.
It's free 99. You know what I'm saying? If you want the true accurate, you might have to pay a fee.
Yeah.
Or for your audience that's listening, annualcreditreport.com. I think it is. Annual credit report. You guys have
When you check your credit, doesn't that hurt your credit when you check it?
That's called an inquiry.
Okay.
So that's called. So what happens is if you have an inquiry on your credit, it can have a negative impact on your credit. But you want to put yourself in a position where, when they do an inquiry, there's a chance they may approve you, or there's a chance they don't approve you.
Right.
But you just want to make sure that your balances are low. You got your 100% payment history. You ain't got no crazy outstanding debts, no bankruptcies, none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, they may approve you.
Right.
Now, the inquiries fall off after a period of time. I'm not 100% sure as to what time they fall off.
Right.
But I got maybe 20 inquiries on mine. But the inquiries will fall off over time. But the majority of those inquiries, I'd say 95% of them have been approved.
Wow.
Yeah, well, you constantly doing business.
Yeah.
That's always.
But that's what I'm using the credit for.
Exactly.
In any business, I don't care what the business is. What's the key to any business?
Cash flow.
When
Access to it.
Money is the bloodline to the
Yeah,
business.
yeah.
So when you run out of money, what happens?
Business drive.
It dies.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I say credit is important.
Exactly.
Especially for business people. If you're going to conduct business, it's very important that you have access to credit. 'Cause
Yeah,
if you have
you need
access
that
to credit,
capital.
there's the stuff that you just don't see coming. This, yo, dude, I'm doing some of these houses, and I remember walking into a house I was doing in Holbrook. Beautiful house. Yo, Jamel, we did this house, bro. We spent $165 for the house. We dumped $120 into it. We sold it for like $450, right? If this house had a pool, I would have moved my whole thing. If it had a pool, my kids went in the house. My kids went in the house. They loved it. They were like, "Oh my God!" I said, "No, we can't have this house." I love to swim, but my point being is, when I showed up to the house just to check on it, it was right around Martin Luther King weekend. And it was real cold, like 6 degrees.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to check. I went in there, the AC unit, water falling all over the place.
Wow. Oh,
the
wow.
buyer was walking in behind me.
Wow.
Now they saw me. I
Yeah.
had no suit on. They saw me. It's one of their neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "I'm the owner." And all of a sudden, the whole deal just fell apart. That's an unforeseen situation. So now I got to spend, I don't know, $7,000 to fix that unit. And then I got to carry the crib for another 2 months so we can find another buyer. That's an unforeseen circumstance, right? What if I ran out of money?
That's done. Yeah, you done.
Or another situation. Bought a house in Amityville. Bought the house in Amityville, spent $195 for the house. Put down $20,000 on contract. I'm thinking, okay, I got to come to the table, close the table, an extra, I don't know, $8,000. I get an email from the attorney, Mr. Desir, we need you to come in with $23,000. What? How do we go from 8 to 23?
Right.
Well, sir, you bought this house at an auction, and the town, the bank paid the taxes for the year, so they want to be reimbursed. So in order for them to clear title, they're going to need you to pay them back the property taxes for the full year.
That's crazy.
You follow what I'm saying? What if I ran out of money?
Right.
So you got to always make sure that you got access to some sort of credit line, some sort of capital.
So even as a homeowner, how much money do you say you should have laying in the account?
You should have,
Just for security purposes.
you should have at least 6 months. Yeah.
Okay.
I went through a medical emergency 4 years ago, and
That's the money. You're not touching it.
Yeah, that's
Just
not,
for emergency.
That's rainy day.
This is
money,
there.
emergency money. Dave
So you need
Ramsey
6
says
months of expenses.
Yep. Dave Ramsey
Mortgage,
says,
water
Everything.
bill, all that shit.
Cover.
and then cut everything. You know, and then life insurance is critical. I know we run out of time, but I will tell you this: life insurance, and why we should all have it. You're you're taking the responsibility. Most men are the breadwinners of the household, right?
Yeah.
We're the leaders of the household, so to speak. Women are really stepping up, and that's super dope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But most men really lead the pack in
Yeah.
terms of the women in the household. If something happens to you, the life insurance comes in as a golden parachute. So for a small fee, you can pass off the responsibility of financially caring for your family. You can pass that off to a life insurance. You can pass that off to a large corporation for a small fee. For literally the price of some sneakers from Marshalls per month, you could transfer that off. So this whole GoFundMe when somebody dies is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
It seems to be
It's disgusting.
working.
And what's worse is if you look 2 weeks before that person passed, they had Cuban link jewelry, Jordans, Balenciagas, or whatever, whatever else you
On
could do was pop a
vacation.
bottle. You know what I'm saying?
Pop a
So
bottle.
yeah,
Nah, it's the truth.
Yeah,
It's
You're
true.
right.
It's
yeah.
true.
But I think there's a lot of things. You guys brought up a lot of great topics, and there's a lot of things that we need to discuss
Yeah, no, of course.
as a people.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And one thing I will say is, anybody I've seen past 300,000 in income is usually doing it off of leverage in terms of other people's efforts.
Well,
Business owner, investor,
Yeah.
employs a team. It's team.
Yeah.
Somebody in the 100 to 175 range is usually highly educated or highly skilled, right? They got a skill that's hard to replace.
Gotcha.
Hard to replace skill, high demand. That's where you get that high six-figure income or the 175 to 200 range.
Yeah.
But when you go $500,000 and above, it's usually business owner or they're employing heavy leverage of some form.
there's levels to the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, many levels.
Yeah, many levels. Indeed,
Many
many
levels.
levels.
Many levels.
Yeah.
Really quick, to go back to the beginning, can you give that the name of that you said, the name of an agency or something you mentioned?
The gentleman that you went to Tennessee to train with?
Dave Ramsey.
Dave
that
Ramsey.
and before I think it was NACM or something.
NACA.
NACA,
The NACA
yes.
program.
Yeah.
NACA program.
I
Yeah.
don't know what the acronym stands for because I
Right.
don't have a NACA mortgage. I wish I did.
Yeah, yeah.
For all you people that are watching that have NACA, I'm hating on y'all.
Yeah. Is it NACA? Is
Yeah,
that what it is?
NACA.
NACA.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's very stringent process to go through.
Right.
Real stringent. They all up in your business.
Yeah, of course.
But it's worth it though, because
Yeah.
if you buy a crib, regular mortgage, more often than not, if you carry it for 30 years, you're going to pay double
Yeah.
what you bought the house for. You
Yeah,
bought the house for
yeah.
$350, you're going to pay double because of the interest. If you have a NACA mortgage and you buy the mortgage rate down to zero, and you got a $350,000 mortgage, that's what you're paying, $350.
Yeah.
Look how much wealth was created over
Right.
the last 30 years.
Mm.
God forbid you invest in the stock market or you buy some other real estate or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about all the money we spent, time, just family going out here doing that for more,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking like, damn.
It's
been
the truth.
an owner
You
of
wanna-
like 2
you
or 3
wanna-
homes already.
you wanna
That's the
know
goals.
something?
It's the goals, man. You have to. You married?
Yeah.
Okay, so you just need to sit with your wife
Yeah, yeah.
and real talk. Be like, what do we want the next 5 years to look like?
Right.
And then reverse engineer it.
Yeah.
Kind of like a director of a movie. Or Jamel, for instance, right? He's a personal trainer. His people come up to him, clients, hey, I want to look like this. Okay, cool. You're telling me your goal. Okay, great. How much time can you commit to my program?
Right.
Right? And then he reverse engineers it, and then step by step, weight by weight, calorie by
Yeah.
calorie, he's helping them to build towards that goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the goal never goes out of focus.
Right.
You gotta have the goal. You follow what I'm saying?
The biggest thing I'm like, and we joke about this a lot on a personal level, is I see, and I'm sure you would agree, that people just simply live beyond their means nowadays. Like when we were growing up, I don't remember any of our parents, any of our friends' parents, traveling the way that if we see some of these kids, I mean, I can't say kids because we talking about people our age, like, I don't remember any of my friends' parents going to Cancun and Barbados and St. Martin and all this shit. Like, you want to know where one of my friends went to? My friends that went to Jamaica were Jamaican, and they went home like every 5 years or some shit like that. It wasn't like every summer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody traveled like that. Vacation used to be, we getting in the minivan or we getting in the station wagon and we going down to Alabama to see grandma and grandpa.
Yeah.
That was vacation. It wasn't $1,600, $2,000, $3,000. Like, people are on vacation all the time.
Social media is part of the culprit.
Yeah.
Social
Yeah,
media.
it's
I read an
crazy.
article of this. I read an article of this chick. She was an influencer, and she racked up like 150 grand in debt that she couldn't pay. She was taking vacations and posting everything on the gram. She was trying to live a life that she couldn't afford.
Yeah.
It happens.
Question, John?
Yeah, Octavio Lomax, he says, how do I build credit for my daughter who just started her first year of college?
What's going on, O?
Get her a secured credit card, and get her a secured credit card, and make yourself an authorized user, and have conversations with her often. You know, like, so you get a secured credit card, I don't know, $1,000, and just let her know, hey, don't go over $300.
Mm-hmm.
If you need something, let me know. I'll cash app you, you know, the rest of the money, whatever. But don't go over this threshold. But he also has to show her what the goalpost looks like.
Right.
Because if he just tells her to do all this stuff without telling her what the
reason
end
why.
goal,
Yeah.
she's just gonna be like. Most people don't have the discipline to follow blindly like that.
Exactly.
So you have to there has to be a carrot dangling somewhere that says if I do this, this is where I'll be at.
Exactly.
Okay. He said if she's only 17, will they give it to her? You just said for him to do it, right, and make her authorized user, or vice versa.
I think they may give it to her. I'm not 100% certain. I'm not a credit specialist. But I'll tell you what he can do. He can go to any local bank or call customer service. But bro, they are stuffing credit cards down people's throats.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, Erin Anderson just said, she said if you're in college and a full-time student, you can get credit cards.
Oh yeah, what do you mean,
Without a doubt,
dude?
yeah.
I had dudes come home from bids. You know what I'm saying? And I sat down. And
Make a license plate for 69 cents an
Yo,
hour.
and I sat down and chopped it up with them. And next thing you know, 100 grand in unsecured, you know, credit. I do this, like I help people do this, right? But what I'm saying is, 1,000% it can be done. But the problem is that if you do it and she abuses it, she could put herself in a world of pain.
Yeah.
So you got to be real careful.
And at 17, that's
be on
tough.
top of
That's
it.
a tough
real careful.
to climb out of.
You gotta run your child.
Any more? We got any more questions?
No, not right now.
All right.
No.
Cool. But yeah, so we just about maxed it out.
Yeah.
But this was important though. Like, I don't care. I mean,
Very
we can do
important.
another. Once we do,
Part
we can
two?
do it. No, yeah. Well, he's definitely coming back. He gotta come back.
absolutely.
Because it's like he said, it's such a broad subject that you can't. Like, if we talk about fitness all the time. We talk about different sectors of fitness on the regular. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I think if we just get like really, really specific, you know, and just focus on that topic, it'll be good, right?
Yeah.
And then as far as me is concerned, it's kind of tough for me to talk about the stock market because I'm not really supposed to be talking about the stock market on these kind of platforms.
Okay.
Some quick steps for the audience: $1,000 beginner emergency fund.
What's that?
Put $1,000 in a bank account.
Oh, I thought you were talking about something
$1,000
as far as stock stuff. Okay, I got you with that. Yeah.
So beginner emergency fund, $1,000. All right. Use a monthly budget. Important, man. You got to know where the money's going.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you know what I'm saying, for your audience,
Yep.
they need to use a budget. Dave Ramsey has budget templates. There are a bunch of other people that have budget templates. As long as you just know where the money's going.
That's it.
Don't not know where your money's going.
Yeah.
Don't not know that.
Like you said, how many people you hear say, "I don't know where it went."
Yeah.
What I do with my coaching clients is I do 90 days. I look everything over, all the expenses, and then we shoot for a goal to reduce all the monthly expenses by about 15%, 15 to 20%.
Okay.
Because that's the fastest way to raise your income, is to cut back.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Because very
You feel like
few
you
have
got
the
raised.
ability to make more money like that. But if you could cut your income, not your income, cut your expenses by 20%, that's damn near like giving yourself a raise.
Right.
So if you're in the supermarket and you're ready to cash out, check out, and you look over to the right and you see that Snickers bar, you're like, damn, is it worth it?
Do you have to be
That's an extra.
You
That's
say
an extra $1.50. Now if you do that every time you go, you know how much money you
Yo,
save.
that's-
It's small things like that make a big difference.
Yeah, I mean that
That's what I'm
$1.50 is not a big thing, but yeah,
I'm just
if
saying
every
it's small
single
things in
time,
general, yeah.
I tell my kids this because my 3 oldest work, and I tell them, listen, y'all spend shit. Even though I keep the house full of food,
Unnecessary, right?
I spend a shit ton of money just eating out.
Yeah.
Why? Because they kind of rebelling against me with the grilled chicken and the eggs and all
Yeah,
that
type.
shit. So now they eat. Now they got a little bit of freedom on their hands for the first time ever, and they got a few extra dollars. So I come in the house, I'm looking in the garbage. And I see Chinese food, styrofoam boxes and shit. But at the same time, I'm like, yo, y'all have no bills. Where's all your money?
Yeah.
When they want to go somewhere, yo, Dad, can you order me an Uber? I'm like, you just got paid on Thursday. It's Tuesday. But
you know what I also think? I also think that
you got not to cut you off, Pete. You actually restarted because when we're done with Pete, me and D just gonna do like 20 minutes with the topics that we were gonna do anyway.
yeah. So I also think that if too many people became financially literate, it would have a major impact on the economy.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. They make a lot of money off our ignorance.
They make a lot of money off of marketing is a beast, bro. I can't tell you how many things I bought scrolling through Facebook, and I'm like, yo, that jacket's hot.
Yeah.
And I sell myself on needing this jacket
Mm-hmm.
because the color was dope. Or
But
a
so,
suit.
Pete, that's the same in any industry. Like I always joke with people and say to them, people who own gyms are rich, not because of us that go. They're rich because of motherfuckers that don't come.
Yeah.
If a gym has a capacity
Right.
of 500 people,
Fire marshal capacity. Yeah.
you understand?
Yeah, yeah.
And all 500 showed up. Like the first 500 people that sign up for a new gym show up all the time. If let's say there's 500 there in the morning
Right.
and 500 there in the evening,
Right.
that gym is not making any money. They count on them having 3,000 members and 2,500 not fucking coming because now they're making money off of people that they don't even have the service.
Would you say this is a fair statement? That Planet Fitness is probably by far the highest grossing.
Absolutely, absolutely,
On a per gym basis.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Even though they're the
Because
cheapest,
the guys at Golds, they go.
yeah.
The reason why Planet's so cheap, I figured it out. The dumbbells don't go past 60 pounds. And you know what that means?
Less insurance.
Yeah.
Gold mine.
That's smart.
That's why. So that's a great segue. Them tips. Continue with them
I'm
tips.
sorry. I'm sorry.
No.
So,
It's all
For
good.
real.
So automate your life if you can. And this is big about the credit. If you set your, dude, can you imagine me having to log in and sit there and pay all these, like the different dates for all these credit
Oh,
cards?
yeah, you never get it done.
No.
You be late all the time.
Yeah, so you automate. If you put it on automatic, and just do it for the minimum.
Right.
They just come out on
Just for the minimum. And then at the end of the month, if you have to go back in and say, I'm going to pay off the rest so I don't carry a balance, do that, for sure.
And so it's not good to pay more than what it is.
You should.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get charged interest on the balance.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you can afford not to carry a balance, don't carry a balance.
So if you balance 30, you can pay 50.
If your balance is what?
30, same month.
Okay.
You could pay 50.
If you pay more than you owe,
More than what you owe.
I wouldn't do that.
You want to?
No.
Well,
they're going to leave you with a credit.
well, just to bring down the total amount. Say if you got a monthly payment or something.
You're
I see
saying
what
if
you're
the
saying.
bill is $300.
Say if you got a monthly
$400,
payment or something, and you're getting you're making payments, the $30 a month payments.
Yeah.
And you say you pay $50 this 1 month.
That just speeds
Is
up.
that
just
gonna-
speeds up paying
Yeah,
That's so it's not gonna,
yeah.
that's not going to affect your credit in any way.
It's maybe not the extra $20,
Or
but
if you go a little more than that.
think of the percentage.
Yeah.
If you had $1,000 that available limit,
Yeah.
and you took $300, and your minimum payment was $30, but all of a sudden you paid $75, that drops your percentage that much faster
Right.
past the 30, right?
Right.
And then it'll reflect on your credit score. Your
Okay.
credit score will shoot up because they'll be like, well, wait, you went from 30% to 15, or
Right.
30% to 20.
Mhm.
Keep up the good work. You know
Gotcha.
what I'm saying? We like
Gotcha.
the fact that you don't need to borrow.
Yeah.
Just pay the minimum then.
Gotcha.
Pay the
Just
minimum.
pay the
Don't
minimum.
Make sure you don't let the minimum pass you because, or the payment date pass you because
Yeah.
the payment history is a big piece of the credit puzzle.
Exactly.
Big piece. You know what I'm saying? And just watch who you're around, man. If you got somebody that's a hyper consumer, and a hyper consumer is somebody that, like I said, paycheck comes and then Monday they don't know where the hell it went. They always at happy hour. They always got on the flyest gear from the most premier store.
Yo, that's why Danny's my right hand man. Is he cheap just like me?
Well, listen. Let me-
Yo,
You got to throw me out there.
I'm
But
just
it's
listening,
real.
man. It is what it is.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
do you spend when you know quality cannot be compromised?
Say it again slow.
When you spend, so if you come across an item and you know that if you went cheap, it wouldn't perform the same way that the
It wouldn't
quality,
perform?
the
It's
quality
not
item.
worth getting it. Then.
Meaning, like me, I'm cheap too. But if quality is something
It's
that
low.
I need,
Oh yeah, then of course.
I'm gonna spend.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You follow what I'm saying?
Quality is always
Certain
good.
certain things you don't want to discount.
Yeah,
Yeah, because what happens is you'll spend twice. You'll pay twice.
Yeah.
If you're cheap with certain
Yeah.
things.
I always say you don't want to discount on home improvements too cheap.
Or and vehicles.
You want vehicles too cheap.
Right.
And not that I'm a fan of it,
Dude,
but cosmetic surgery.
I bought
Yeah.
I bought a Kia from the auction. Oh my God, complete death trap. Whoa, dude, the brakes failed on me on the highway. Yeah, man, they got them from 80, bro. I know how to maneuver. I'm like, oh, shit, crazy. Kia. I got it for $500. Yeah,
And then you got
that probably
500.
was about to be my last $500.
Yeah. Holy shit, bro.
The brakes just straight up failed on the highway. I'm like,
Damn.
wow.
Spend 500, you get 500.
Yeah,
Worth it. Driving.
yeah.
But yo, man, that does it for us
All right.
tonight.
All
Yo,
right.
B,
Good talk, man. Good talk.
listen,
Appreciate it.
I'm quite sure that everybody here is substantially more knowledgeable.
I am.
Especially
If not,
our
then they're
audience.
wasting their time.
Yeah,
Like,
for real.
This
So that's cool. And if
nah.
they're not, again, maybe my delivery wasn't for them.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Now, real quick, you got any if you have some information you want to share with the people if they want to contact you for more advice?
Yes,
Yes,
you can reach
absolutely.
me on Instagram.
Okay.
Desirable Assets.
Yes.
Right.
Desirable assets.
Yeah.
At desirable assets.
Yes, you can reach me on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. Palmery Desir on LinkedIn.
Spell your name, please.
PALMERY.
Got it.
Last name Desir. DESIR.
Okay.
Yeah, you can catch me on those outlets. My email is my first name last name @gmail.
Simple enough.
You can catch me there. And if you come across any distressed houses that you don't want, holla at your boy.
Yep.
We buy any and everything.
There you go.
Yeah.